Hello, everyone. Welcome to the kickoff for the new year for Upper Creek Robotics. This is going to be a welcome for all the new students who are interested in joining. We're going to give you a little bit of information about the team. I'm going to start and tell you about First Robotics, and then you'll hear from each of the sub-teams. If you have questions, you're welcome to put them in the chat. And then also we can do a Q&A at the end of the day. I'll start by saying that we are here, some of us, in our building in Longmont, our headquarters. And so that's where we're broadcasting from. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and start sharing a slideshow or a presentation I have. I was muted, sorry. My name is Kathy Olkin. I am a mentor at Upper Creek Robotics, and tonight you're going to hear from both mentors and students on the team. So this is our new student kickoff. As I said, bear with us. This is the first time we've had to do this virtually, so we're making this up as we go along. You're going to get to see how we innovate and try new things here. So this is the agenda. These are the topics I'm going to talk about what FIRST is. And then after, near the end, you'll see the sub-team tours, and we'll send you over to hear from other people. And then, like I said, a Q&A at the end. So I'm going to start with FIRST. What is FIRST? FIRST is an acronym, and it stands for the Inspiration and Recognition of Science and Technology. This is an organization with teams across the whole world. There's teams all across in Europe, Australia, many other countries, and there's thousands and thousands of teams. This organization was started in 1989 by Dean Kamen, who is an inventor. He invented the Segway and many other things. And the goal of the organization is to inspire young people's interest in science and technology. Really, we want to show that participating in STEM is cool. There's a concept called gracious professionalism that I just love in FIRST. And the idea there is that you compete really hard, but you help other people out. So that is one of the cornerstones of FIRST, the FIRST organization, is this idea of gracious professionalism. And also related is the idea of cooperation. There are programs from K to 12, and we're here tonight talking about the high school program, the FIRST robotics competition. And there's over half a million students involved across all four areas from K to 12. So FRC stands for the FIRST robotics competition, and we build a new robot each year. Typically, it's about 5 feet tall and 150 pounds. And it's the concept is to build and design something and test it just like you do in the real world as an engineer. And there's limited time, money, and resources, just like we have as in real world engineering problems. Now, here the time is really limited because it's about 6 weeks for our build season. But it's an exciting time to be able to pull everything together. So the project is centered around developing a robot that can compete, and the competitions feel like a sporting event. And in fact, they take place on a field. This is our field here, and it's about the size of half a basketball court, I believe. And there's about 4,000 teams in FIRST robotics competition that compete worldwide across 35 countries. You can see pictures on the bottom of the field of previous competitions. I'm not going to show the videos because often they don't stream well for a lot of people. But later at the end of the presentation, there'll be a link to our YouTube channel, and you can check out all our awesome videos. And we have students who create our videos on the team. So now a little bit about our team. It was founded in 2004. We have about 70 students and 20 mentors. And like I said, we're part of the FIRST organization, and we embrace the FIRST values, things like gracious professionalism, cooperation. And we want to also give back to the community. You'll hear more about that later. And we want to compete with realistic engineering challenges. We're building significant robots here. And beyond the technical skills, students will learn about leadership, communication, and teamwork. None of this can be done by a single student. We need a whole team working together, just like in a real-world engineering problem. We also volunteer in the community and help support STEM education across our community. So a little bit about who the mentors are. There's about 20 of us, and we are all volunteers. So we've been doing this for many years, on average, more than 5 years, and we have more than 20 years on average of industry experience working in science or in engineering and teaching. And we have lots of experience also teaching not only in STEM, but people who are actual educators. So we have a group of people who volunteer their time all year round to help support this organization. And 3 of our mentors have won the first award, which is the Woody Flowers Award, which is given to mentors for their outstanding ability to communicate and educate students. And that's really quite an accomplishment for our team to have that many people have won Woody Flowers Award. Here you can see Teresa Ewing, who's a mentor on our team, receiving the Woody Flowers Award in the corner image. It's a super cool looking award. A little bit about our community outreach. We do a lot more than just build robots. We support community events by demonstrating our robots at town block parties and town fairs. We deliver food baskets and run food drives. We hold summer camps and workshops and Girl Scout badge days. And we help our sponsors. We have a number of corporate sponsors. We help them with events like Back to School Day at Ball Aerospace Corporation. We have thousands of volunteer hours per season across the whole team. This is an important thing that our team does, and we believe it brings us together as a team to be supporting our community. We also mentor other robotics teams. So last year's season was a little abbreviated because of the coronavirus, but we did get to go to one regional, and we went to the Great Northern Regional, which was in North Dakota. And we just wanted to share some awards with you that we got there so you can understand that we are really trying to compete at the highest level. We won the competition, and then we got a design award for our autonomous control of the robot. And we also, for the first time ever, received a Dean's List finalist award, and this went to one of our students for her contributions to FIRST and the community. There's lots of skills that you'll learn on the team, things like safety and how to use tools, design, mechanical design, electrical design, and software design. Also fabrication. We have a machine shop that you'll see a little bit later. Strategy, marketing, essay writing, photography. All of these are things that you'll learn in different sub-teams. So we'll tell you more in detail about that a little bit later. The mentors, our role is to lead and teach, but the students need to be taking the initiative, asking questions, being here, ready to do the work. The mentors aren't here to do the work. We want to teach and help make sure that the students have the opportunity to learn these STEM skills. So this is what the season looks like. We really meet all year round, but we also break it up into the fall learning season, which is September to December. We have weekly Tuesday meetings and or Thursday for some sub-teams. Things might be a little bit different this year because of the coronavirus. And so some teams might be meeting virtually or on other days because there's the freedom to do that. but you'll be hearing from the sub-teams and about when they expect to be meeting. We do have a cutoff date for new members joining. So this is really important. If you would like to join our team, we would like to know by October 1st. And that's really because we have this learning season. And starting in October, we'll start training students in the different curricula for the sub-teams. And so we really want to make sure that you have a chance to do the learning in the fall so that you're ready to go when the competition season starts in January. We will have a student and parent orientation on October 6th. So I'm not answering all of the questions you might have today, trying to give you a feel for what the organization is like, and there'll be a lot more information at the student parent orientation on October 6th. And we will have new student onboarding around that time, October 6th and 8th. We also have a holiday party. You know, we are playing things by ear this year, trying to limit the number of people that are in our facility just so that we all can be safe and healthy. But we would like to celebrate together, and we would like to try and have a holiday party. So that's on the calendar. The build season kicks off on January 9th. That's across the whole world. That's when everybody gets to hear about the new competition and they get started. Then we have from January to April to build and refine our robot. We typically will go to one out-of-state competition, the Colorado Regional, and then if we qualify, the championship in Houston, Texas. As you can see, there's question marks next to all of these dates here because we need to understand if large gatherings of people will even be possible in March and April. So that is what a typical year looks like, but we can't guarantee what will happen this year. We're doing the best we can. And then we would have a banquet in May. So next I want to tell you a little bit about what a typical meeting would look like. In general, for the first 5 or 10 minutes, there is an update from the student leads telling everybody what's going on and what we're doing. Similarly, the last 15 minutes are spent cleaning up. And so for this reason, we really want people to stay the whole time for the meetings because otherwise only a small number of kids are left to clean up after everyone, and that's just not fair. During the fall learning series, we will be meeting from 6 to 9 p.m. Tuesdays and or Thursdays, but as I said, it depends on the sub-team, so you'll hear more about that from the sub-teams. In January to April, we typically have met Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday from 6 to 9, and then Saturday from 9 to 6, and Sunday from 1 to 9. Once again, this could be revised depending on how the year goes, okay? And yeah, so this meeting schedule could differ from that, but that's typically what we do. We have general policies that are important to know. We really take trust and safety very seriously. We need to be able to trust the team members, and there's a lot of equipment around here, so we need people to be safe. That includes things like safety glasses being worn in the machine shop. I want to mention here, no open-toed or high heel or heeled shoes because there's things that you could hurt yourself on. And long hair needs to be pulled back, and no loose clothing or jewelry. So if you do come in for something, please keep that in mind. We have training so that you know how to use tools properly. We expect people to be quiet when others are talking. That is, a lot of these really rotate or revolve around respect. And so under hydration, I want people to bring a water bottle. We have a kitchen here, you can get water, but especially with the coronavirus, we don't have a bunch of cups for people to use, so please bring a water bottle and be able to keep hydrated. And for evening and weekend meetings, we want people to have dinner before or afterwards so that when we're here, we're ready to work. And it's important that people aren't late because of that 5 or 10 minute meeting that we have at the beginning to get everybody caught up. So really, we do start right on time. I wanted to show you our COVID-19 policies because I want you to know that we're taking this very seriously. When I walked in the door this evening, my temperature was taken and I went away right away and washed my hands. Face masks must be worn at all times. The only reason I have my face mask off is so that you can hear us. So typically I would have this mask on all the time, but just to make it clear, to communicate clearly, the people who are speaking will be taking their mask off so you can hear us. And we only have one entrance, that is through our east door, and that's so that everybody can have their temperature checked on entry. And we have some health screening questions, things like, has anyone you've been around been sick? Things like that. And we also have a consent and a release form and a COVID-19 waiver that needs to be signed and filled out. And the other thing I'll mention is that if parents are dropping off your son or daughter, they need to wait to leave until after they've gone through the temperature check and the health declaration questions. Because if the temperature check doesn't work out, then they do need to leave. If they are running a fever or if they have been around people who have COVID, we really want to make sure everyone is safe and healthy. This is how we're going to be successful this year. So here's some information about dues. The financial commitment includes dues and travel expenses, and providing one meal for the team. Your child gets to eat all the other meals, and so it kind of works out with the build season food. You can see the dues here, and for those dues, you get a safety glasses, a polo shirt like this one, a t-shirt, and a ticket to the banquet. And here's some information about when the dues are due, and that will be discussed in more detail at the student parent orientation. So what's next? For the new students, if you would like to join, we would like you to go ahead into our registration system. It's called MIMS, and enter yourself, and then you would be on the lookout for an email to get into the system, and we would have a student team member from the team follow up by email to help you decide what sub-team you're interested in. These other QR codes will take you to our website and our YouTube channel. I highly recommend you go to our YouTube channel and check out our videos. We've got some really good content there that helps you get a feel for what the team is like. Our registration system is called MIMS. And if you want to know more about the first organization, please go to the first website, which is the QR code on the end. And as I said previously, there'll be a student parent orientation on October 6th with much more details about the season and the team, but this is how to get you started. And from here, we are going to hand it off to each of the sub-teams. The first sub-team up will be engagement, and you'll be hearing from Jason and Anjana. So Jason and Anjana, I'll let you take control of the sharing. Let's stop sharing.
Yeah, hi, my name's Jason. I'm one of the mentors for the engagement team.
And my name is Anjana, and I'm a member of the engagement sub-team. Our sub-team lead could not make it today, so I will be representing and showcasing what engagement is about. So in engagement, we create media presence for the public to see. We create media for Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, our team, website, and TikTok. Yes, even TikTok. This includes what we post, when we post, and on what platforms. Last year alone, we gained over 3,000 followers on Instagram. This was our first year on TikTok, and we created a video that went viral. To say the least, we had over 36,000 likes, and we created a following of 700 and counting. Also, we created our annual robot reveal video on YouTube that currently has over 44,000 views. Obviously, a big part of our sub-team is photography and videography. We take pictures at meetings and every competitions. We do not only take photos for our 1619 team, but the entire Upper Creek family, which includes FLL, Junior FLL, and FTC. These photos are used as content for our social media pages. Our new members don't need any experience, but just an interest in these areas is fantastic. At this point, you might be wondering, why is engagement important to Team 1619? Well, the non-technical side of robotics is just as important as the robot itself. For example, if we don't get sponsors, then we don't have the same opportunities that we have now, such as materials we use and the space we meet in. Another cool thing is that our other teams are doing similar work. If you go on Instagram, that you will see a lot of other teams that are promoting themselves for the same reason. Some other things we have a chance in helping with are chairman's posters, planning team building activities, writing parent sponsor thank yous, and designing team gear. We are planning to meet online on Mondays 7 through 9 during the fall, and Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturdays during build season. We are very excited for any new members that may be interested in joining our team efforts. Thank you.
Kathy, we're back to you.
Thank you, Jason. So this is Emma, and I'm Kathy again. And we're going to tell you a little bit about outreach. So go ahead and you can take off your mask, Emma.
All right.
There you
Hi, I'm Emma Marble. I'm the outreach lead at Epic Creek Robotics. And so basically what outreach does is, on a typical season, we would have students who have to complete a certain amount of service hours. And so for rookies, that'd be 15 hours, and veterans, it's typically 30 hours of service. And that would include a wide variety of different things. So some of it could be working at a fundraiser at Barnes & Noble and having a like STEM related tent. So doing some kind of science project with different kids in the store, or going and delivering food baskets, collecting canned food, and even painting kindness washers. And this is what a kindness washer might look like. And they're just painted washers that we pass out in at competitions to people who have shown kindness to the different communities at the event. Another thing that we work on is just different projects within the community. So we will partner with different places in the communities. We have partnered with the hospital, the Lungs Peak Hospital, and we created lily pads with them, which are kind of hard to see, but they're the things in the center. And so those are some of the examples of lily pads that have been created in the past. And we've partnered with them in drills to help, like emergency drills, to help their to help the doctors and nurses prepare for different types of emergencies. And we've created models for them for their
donors.
For their donors. Yes, thank you. Sorry. Another thing that we do is at the competitions, we pass out these things called gearings, which are earrings that have gears and different beads on them. And so people can pick them up next to buttons or stickers at the event and can wear them. And it's just a fun way to have something from different teams and continue on. We also help out and volunteer at different first events with the younger students. So FLL, which is the first LEGO Week, and those are typically our elementary schoolers who we have students volunteer, and they're either judges or judge assistants, or they help set up the field, or they're announcers, or they help cue different students and get them ready to go on to their competition. And so all of this ultimately works towards our different presentations at competitions and the service hours that students receive. Yes, and I believe that's all.
And the outreach team will meet on Tuesdays from 6 to 9. We might have special one-day things where we choose to meet on a different day. If so, we'll announce it, but typically we'll be meeting on Tuesdays. And some of the activities that Emma shared, those are what we typically do, but we might need to modify this year. So we'll see what happens. And I think that's all. Yeah. Okay. So next I'm going to pass the Zoom meeting over to the administration, the business side, and you're going to hear from Teresa and Claire. Teresa, you want to go ahead and take it? Start speaking.
Hi, my name is Claire. I have been with Upper Creek for 3 years on the FTC team. So this will be my first year with FRC, and I'm on the admin sub-team. So the admin or administration sub-team handles a few different things. We handle the money, so things like vending machine, checks, team spirit, money from that. We manage all that money. We also handle the key cards that mentors get. We hand those out and manage those. We handle printing, so things like pamphlets, stickers, posters, anything that needs to be printed professionally, we handle that, make sure it gets printed, there are enough copies, things like that. We also handle some of those menial daily or weekly tasks like checking the mail, emptying the vending machines, and restocking hygiene products, toilet paper, stuff like that. Another thing that we do is all the spirit wear and spirit gear. So things like water bottles, t-shirts, all that kind of stuff we handle and we manage. We also make sure that everyone has safety glasses when they need them. We do all the travel, so planning travel when we go to competitions. So we get to handle all that all the management stuff behind travel. And we also have an eBay store that we get to manage to make sure that everything goes smoothly with that, making listings, stuff like that.
And I'm Teresa Ewing. I'm the computer science teacher at Niwot High School. And I also occasionally teach cybersecurity at the Innovation Center. And I've been at this a long time, 15 years I've been doing this program. And I run administration. So right now it's just Claire. So we're really looking for members. Currently we meet on Saturday nights from 6 to 9. We're trying to split when the sub-teams meet so we don't have everybody in the building at one time. And so if you're a kid who likes, is maybe not as technical, but likes to manage or would like to be an entrepreneur and like to learn how to run your own business, this place is very much like a big business. We have a couple $100,000 budget. We run with QuickBooks. You'll learn a lot of business skills if you join this sub-team. So.
Thank you, Teresa and Claire. Next, you're going to hear from Dave and Kyle about construction.
Hey everyone, this is David Simons here. I am the lead construction mentor for 1619. Been around this team now for about 3 years. I'm going to take you through a couple points of what our sub-team does and then hand it off to Kyle to kind of run you around the facility and show you what the construction sub-team has done in the past and how we operate. From a overall perspective, and let me share my screen real fast, just a few slides to take you through. This won't take too long. Let me know if you can see that. What we do on the construction sub-team is we build the practice field and the practice elements. And you'll see a lot of plywood and a lot of wood construction in the facility. Those are the elements that we use to practice with for getting a robot in shape for construction season or for competition season, and to replicate those field elements as much as we possibly can to make it look and seem like the actual competition field every year. And a part of that is planning the field strategy to make sure that we know which ones to build, what order to build them in, and to make them as close as possible to the real thing. And with that acumen that we learn each year, we go through and we build other things too. We put up shelves, we build trophy cases, in theory, and other things throughout the facility. Our team is also responsible for the IT support in the building, so we do a lot of this, the PC support, the server support, and we lend a hand with the e-commerce backend as well with getting things ready for that. And part of that, of course, is maintaining the hand and the power tools that we use to put together those big, heavy elements each year. And lastly, but not certainly least, we put our tools away and we keep a clean and we keep a safe work environment. And if it's in the facility, if it's wood, we've done it good, essentially. So we run a very small team. It's very sporadic, but we do a lot of very large things with wood and a lot of very complex construction projects. Those cross over into fabrication and those cross over into outreach when we have to put things together for that. And we also put together a set of competition roles for each competition as well. So we go out and we measure the field. We help with the robot as it is rolled out onto the field, and we make sure that the field that we're competing on is very similar to what the specs are in each set of rules each year. For next year, what we plan on doing is to reuse many of the field elements per the rules of FIRST this next year coming up. And so we're going to have a lot of, or a fewer gigantic projects like the one you see behind me here. I'm not in the facility right now. That's actually a blue screen, or green screen. But that means that we get to have a lot more creativity with independent projects. And with that, we're going to be meeting once a week during the off season. And it's going to be a heavy reliance upon virtual meetings as we deal with COVID-19. And as build season starts up, depending on how that all goes, we'll be meeting twice a week or as needed during the build season. With that, I'm going to hand it off to Kyle Taylor. Kyle is our construction sub-team lead, and he's going to run around the facility, show you some of the things we've done, what we're going to be doing, and where we are working. So Kyle, go ahead and take it away. I'll hand it off to you.
Hello everybody, my name is Kyle Taylor and I am the construction lead for Cripple Creek and a senior at Mount High School. The types of students we're looking for on our team is ones that can use their hands and like to build things, can lift heavy objects, and are not afraid to come home covered in sawdust. Our main working period is at the start of the season, the first about 2 weeks or so, where we really have to get going on building the field elements so that everybody has a chance to bring the robot around and test all the codes. You don't need any experience to join a construction team. We'll teach you everything, how to use the tools and the technical skills needed. Now I'll show you where we work. We work pretty much entirely all over the field because we're in the construction and we're building everything. We build all the field elements, and we have over here our desk space where we print off all of our designs and plans we use to build everything. We also have our tool rack over here and everything else. Plenty of ladders. We also have this trailer that we use to do all of the cutting in so that doesn't disturb the space. We don't have to constantly vacuum things up. And that's the most for construction team.
Thanks, Kyle. With that, I'll go ahead and hand it back to Kathy and the team then.
I'm a junior this year, and I get the pleasure of being your strategy lead this year.
My name's Selby. I'm one of the strategy mentors.
Yeah, so today I'm just going to walk you through what strategy typically does in our phases of a new season. Starting off during our off season, a lot of our time is spent training people in scouting. Basically, scouts are people who go to the competitions with the explicit purpose of taking in that real-time data from the competing teams. They take in points scored, how the robot performs on the field, its weaknesses, its strengths, and they take in all that data so that we can better understand a robot when we're playing with them or against them during competition. Unlike most years, because with the virus and all, the game is much of the same this year as last year. So a lot of our time this offseason will also be spent going over rules, reviewing rules, and how the game is played. That basically encompasses our off season. And then in build season, a lot of our time is usually spent training scouts as well as running game simulations, which help us garner an overall idea for what our strategy is going to be going into competitions. In this year, we're doing something brand new, which is making a playbook, which that goes hand in hand with running those game sims. We're going to be making a playbook that our drive team can use for possible plays to use in possible scenarios during competition. And then most importantly, during the competition season, we spend a lot of our time scouting. This year we are introducing a new type of scout, a qualitative scout, who essentially will rank teams as best as they see fit. And that will go into a lot of our thinking for when we pick alliances in the finals. So aside from that scouting, we use all of our scouting data during the competitions. For example, when we're going up and playing with a team, we can use that data to look at what teams are good at what and what teams aren't good at what. So when we're paired with them, we can look at, okay, how can we cover your weaknesses with other teams' strengths to overall perform better? And then as I was saying just a little bit earlier, that pick list or draft night where we pick the teams that we want to go into the finals with. We use a lot of that scouting data, and especially the data by the qualitative scouts, about who we want to pick to be our alliance members in those finals. And that's a really big part of us winning competitions. That is all I have. I hope to see you guys on the team this season, whether you're on strategy or not. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Sid and I'm the sub-team lead for the application software sub-team. So I'm currently a IB senior at NIWAT and I've been on the team since my freshman year. And coming onto the team, I knew how to code a little bit in Java, and since then I've learned through being on the team to code in JavaScript and Python.
Hi, I'm Emily. I'm also a senior at NIWAT in the IB diploma program. I've been on the team my freshman and sophomore year and then took a break my junior year to focus on swim in school. I had a little bit of coding experience too, just from Ms. Ewing teaching me in school.
So what we do on this sub-team here is obviously software, as you can tell from the name, but we don't work on the robot itself. That'll be robot software, which you'll hear from soon. We work on other software projects for the team. The biggest thing we work on during build season is the scouting app. So as Aster and Shelby were talking about, we do scouting at competitions on other teams. And so we normally write an iPad app to do that. And so that's the big thing we work on during the build season. And then during the off season, we also work on some other projects. For example, right now we're working on MIMS, the registration system for the team. But so through our work at the team, we do primarily web and mobile development. So some of the things you might learn on the sub-team would be iOS app development, JavaScript, Python, databases, and other web development things.
And then next we'll just kind of show you, we work in the back room, so we'll just show you around. We share the space with FTC. That's their like the field over there. And then we also have
take it with you.
Show you. So yeah, this is their field. This is their robot. And then we also, so in that corner is all FLL equipment, and that's the first LEGO League robotics team. And we have a lot of mentors on FRC that help mentor for that team. And then we also have a TV that we use to show our code and stuff so we can all see it. And then next we'll introduce our mentor.
Hey, I'm Mike. I'm actually a returning student. Oh, right. I'm actually a returning student. I've been on the team, or I was with the team 10 years ago. Now I'm working with Amazon to come back to help teach web development and mobile development, like I said mentioned. If you're,
That's good. Oh, and then we'll talk about, so for meeting, right now we're meeting Saturdays from 6 to 9.
PM.
Yeah. Not important.
And so for those meetings, we're primarily meeting in person, but we've also had some people join the meeting via WebEx if they want to stay home. And that's all we have. So it's over to robot software now.
Hello. Hi. Hello, I'm Corey Chanders. I'm a mentor for the robot software team. And I've been with the team for about 4 years, and I'm a programmer that works for NOAA on weather radars.
I'm Harrison. I'm the sub-team lead for the robot software sub-team, and I'm a sophomore. It's my second year with the team.
I'm Matthew, senior, and I go now at high school, and I'm also on the robot software sub-team.
And Patrick, are you out there? He's our other mentor.
Yeah, I'm Patrick. I work at Misty Robotics. I've been with the Upper Creek Robotics team for 3 years now.
So now I'm going to quickly show you where we work. So we're out here on this end of the field, out by the main entrance. And then right here we have our robot from the past season. So for this year's game, this is the robot. And now we're going to show you our
Okay, so this is just going to be a short presentation on who we are and what we do. So first and probably most important question is, what do we do? We design, write, and test all of the software that will actually control the robot, as opposed to application software, which does other things. We write both the robot's driving code as well as the autonomous code when it moves by itself. And essentially our job is to make the drive team's job as easy as possible. So we program in primarily Java, but there's some other parts of our code that use other languages like CSS, JavaScript, and HTML. And we have over 25,000 lines of code in our main project. One of our sort of unique challenges that we get to do is the vision targeting. We use a product called the Limelight, which allows us to identify targets, and then using that information, we can line up the robot automatically to shoot. We use some third-party software to help us control that. Here's a GIF of what the Limelight looks like when it's working.
So now I'm going to talk a little bit more about the autonomous mode that he mentioned at the beginning. So it's the first 15 seconds of each of our matches, and it's a really unique challenge for us because there has to be no driver input, so all the code has to do all of the driving for the robot, which is really challenging. And then one of the big things we're proud of this year is that we won the Autonomous Award at the Great Northern Regional this year. We do have a video, we'll see if it plays okay, but this is one of our autos from the season. And so that was all done autonomously with our computer controlled code. So the computer did everything, there was no driver input. So then one other big thing we do is we write our own dashboard, which is sort of where the other languages we talked about at the beginning were web-based stuff. So we write a dashboard so that during our competitions, our drivers can easily see and point info about the robot. It also helps us test code, which is really important now since we're not always in the building. So having a way to be able to write our code without being near a robot is super helpful, and that allows us to do it and work from home a lot more. So we only need a lot less. And speaking of, here's what our dashboard looks like, some different things. So there's a lot of different things, and if you are interested in learning about that, you can join the software team. So our schedule is we meet on Tuesdays right now from 4 to 6 p.m. in person, but we also do quite a bit of work individually at home. So we sort of write software at home and then come in and test it and work with the robots. So that's all we have. Thank you, and we're looking forward to see you on the team.
Next, you'll be hearing from hardware design.
Hi, I'm Ashley. I'm the sub-team lead of the hardware design or CAD team. I am a junior at Niwot High School.
Hi, I'm Olga Rafenka, and I am a member of the hardware team, and I am a freshman at Niwot. I'm a sophomore at Niwot High School. I'm sorry, guys. So this is where we work. This is our CAD lab. We have our wonderful whiteboard. We have 10 computers.
Okay, so what we do in the CAD team, we learn about various mechanisms and designing in 3D and much more. We create the robot concepts and we take them from the whiteboard to the computer. Using the program Onshape, we design the full robot in a 3D space. Other sub-teams then fabricate, assemble, and program the robot that we have made in this 3D space and turn it into a reality. We then work with the actual robot and team to make further improvements. So this is an example of one of our 3D designs. This is it in our Onshape workspace. So we send these parts to fabrication, and they turn it into this robot with help or through assembling and software.
So then starting on the 8th of September, we will be meeting on Tuesdays from 6 to 9 at headquarters, or at least until the 29th, just to get everyone engaged and so that we can move forward, especially with Swerve Drive, which is our current biggest project. After the 29th, we may move to partially remote meeting via Zoom, but to be determined. And since we're taking extra precautions for social distancing, if you join us, we will request that you bring your own laptop so that we can work in the practice field rather than working in here so we can have a bigger space. So we're very excited for all of you guys, whether or not you join us, but we'd love to meet you all, and we're very excited.
Next, you'll hear from the fabrication team.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Upper Creek Robotics Machine Shop. I'm Katie Grieve, a junior at Niwot High School, and the sub-team lead for the fabrication team. With me tonight is Adam Benson, a senior at Silver Creek, and behind the camera is Bruce Hoyne, the lead mentor for the fabrication team. Our sub-team fabricates all of the parts for our robot with the exception of 3D printed parts and purchased parts. In a typical season, we usually fabricate about 1,000 parts, all of which are extremely accurate. To give you an idea of how accurately we fabricate these parts, they are usually within 5/1000ths of an inch to the given measurements, so that's extremely accurate. I'll show you some examples of the parts that we make here. This is the first training part that you'll learn if you join our sub-team.
It's not showing.
It's not showing? Can you guys see that?
Yep.
This is our second part that you'll learn. It's a tube. And this is the third training part. It's made of a type of plastic called Delarin. So you'll see that we can do a lot, from sheet metal pieces like this one to bent sheet metal pieces like this with the sides folded up, tubes like the second training part, and solid pieces like the first training part. We mostly use aluminum, but we also use Delarin and polycarb, along with a few pieces in steel, like this expanding mandrel, which was made on a lathe. We also have some fun projects because we like to have fun in here. So you'll notice during the holiday seasons, we do some 3D milling projects like this snowman ornament and a little skull for Halloween, and a Turner's cube, which is really cool looking. All right, Adam, take it away.
I'll need a camera here. My name's Adam. I'm going to be giving you a quick little tour around the shop as best as we can today. We're going to start right here with our hardened manual lathe. This is mainly used to make round or hex pieces of stock that we're going to use on the robot. And if you want to learn the lathe, this is the first machine, the first lathe that you're going to use. But we do have one more lathe. It's off to my right. You can't really see it, but it is computer programmable, and that's why we build from this lathe onto that one. We also in the shop have 4 different vertical 3-axis mills. Our sharp mill, right here, is manually controlled as well as computer controlled. All of the mills can be computer controlled. 2 of them, the sharp and a Bridgeport, that is identical to this, but you can also not see it right now, can be manually controlled. The A-trunk flatbed mill that you just saw Katie with the parts on is mostly used to machine these flat pieces that you just saw. But we can also make the bent stock that I'm not sure where that wound up. Here it is. We make these flat and then bend them on a hydraulic bending press. And then back here behind us, we have our last mill. It is also 100% computer run, and it is the Miltronics Vertical Machining Center. And we use that for our more complex solid parts. And if you join the Fab team, we will be teaching you not only all the skills needed to run these machines, but also CAM, which stands for Computer Aided Machining, And that is how you program the Atrump and the Miltronics to run and make the correct parts without any help from us. And with that, I'm going to hand it back over to Bruce, our lead mentor.
Is that kind of wrong? Hi, I'm Bruce Hoyne. I'm the lead fabrication mentor, and I've been here about 4 years. I used to teach at Front Range Community College in the machining program. I just resigned from that this year. Like all of the other fabrication mentors, we're all degreed engineers. I'll tell you about some of the other ones. For me, I'm an electrical engineer, but I've always been interested in actually making things that actually exist and just aren't electrons going around. Cassie Butler is an alumna of the team. She was graduated in 2013, went to CU, got a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering. While she was there, she was a teaching assistant for the machine shop that students use for all their student projects. So she's taught students at CU for 4 years. She's been with us for 2 years. And then finally, our longest serving fabrication mentor is Tom Glenn. He's been mentoring on the fabrication team for 6 years. He's an engineer, software engineer at Ball Aerospace. Currently, we have 11 veterans on our sub-team, fabrication team. We're looking for another 4 to 6 to join us so that we can carry forward, because we're going to graduate soon this year. We don't need any experience. We have an excellent training program. You'll become competent machinists for the kind of parts that we make for our robots, like Christmas time. I guarantee it. We've done it I've done it for the last 4 years. It's really awesome this last year. One of our students also took the high school machining program, and he volunteered graciously that he thought our program was better than the high school program. So it was nice to hear that. Here's what you're going to gain if you join our sub-team. You're going to end up with some solid skills in machining techniques so that you can become a better engineer. Because you know how to make things, you'll know how to design things that can be made instead of designing things that cannot be made. We're going to give you a strong reinforcement in the practical application of math, including geometry and trigonometry. I don't want you to scare that off. I don't want that to scare you off. We use it, but it's not a bunch of theoretical stuff. It's really how we apply it to solving problems. And then finally, we're a fairly large team, and you're going to learn a lot of teamwork skills because we have to work as a team to get things done. With that, I think I'm turning it over to Katie.
Hello again. Let's not forget that the Fab team is a really fun sub-team to be a part of. We aren't called the Fab team for nothing. While fabricating parts with extreme accuracy, we're also cracking jokes and listening to a whole bunch of different types of funky musics, from pop to rock to jazz to even Disney. And you'll probably catch us eating some desserts and candies. Donuts have been our typical treat during the build season. So we really are a fun environment to be a part of. The last thing that we would like to let you know is our usual meeting schedules are Tuesdays and Thursdays from 6 to 9 p.m. So if you're free a Tuesday or Thursday night, feel free to stop in and say hi and see if the Fab team's the right fit for you. Lastly, we look forward to meeting each and every one of you, regardless of which sub-team you choose to join. Thanks you all for listening.
And next you'll be hearing from the controls sub-team.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the controls team. Happy to have you guys here. I know what you're thinking, probably save the best for last. Well, who are we to argue with you? In a minute, you're going to hear from a couple of our amazing students, Brandon and Tegan. I'm Derek Kurd. I'm the mentor here in the controls group, and I just want to tell you briefly a little bit about what we do and when we do it. First of all, generally we've been meeting on Tuesday evenings, 6 to 9 p.m. here in person at headquarters with our appropriate COVID attire and so on. Generally, we've been meeting every week doing projects during the off season here, and then we'll get into a little discussion about what we do in the build season. A little bit about what we do. So you've heard from the software team. You got people over here writing code, and you've heard from the design CAD hardware team that's over here designing mechanical things. And of course, you can write all the code you want, but you're not going to move a motor or a gear or an arm unless you have something in the middle. And that's where we come in. We do the control systems for the robot. So control systems includes a couple of things, all the electronics. So we're doing all the things that the software runs on that allows us to move actuators or spin motors or read sensors from the machine. We also do the pneumatic system, which allows us to have electronic control of pneumatic cylinders and things that move parts around on the robot. So that's the kind of stuff we do, number one. Number two, we do a lot of the robot assembly. So things go from the design team into the fabrication team. They build all the parts, and then the parts come in here, and we put them together most often, building little sub-assemblies and eventually building up the whole robot as we integrate our control system into the whole machine. That's kind of what we do and when we do it. And now I'm going to turn it over to Sir Brandon here, who's going to tell you a little bit about what we do in the off-season projects.
Hello guys, my name is Brandon. I am a senior at Niwot High School, and I'm here to talk about what we do when we're not doing build season. So obviously a large part of controls is us building robots for the build season, but another large part is what we do on the off season. So on the off season, we get ourselves into some pretty grand projects. One of the projects we've done is one of these self-balancing robots. This was from a couple years ago. We also have a Tesla coil that we did this year that coming out of here is about 50,000 volts, so that's pretty grand. Another thing we've done is we have made robots for prototyping so that we are more prepared for the build season. Next to Tegan.
Hi, so I'm Tegan. I'm a junior this year, and I am the controls sub-team lead. So I'm going to talk about build season. So that's when we build our robot. So we begin it by prototyping ideas. So we build them in here and test it and see if they work. And then once we have the basic idea for the robot, we design the electrical system. So you can see all of the wires in here. And then after Fab has manufactured all of our parts, we build our robot and wire it. So this is our robot from 2014, the Megatron. And in here you can see all of the different electronics. So there'll be a big battery in here, and then the power goes right here and is distributed to the motor controllers, the Robo Rio, which controls the robot, and then the radio, which talks to a laptop over Wi-Fi and allows us to control the whole robot. So then at competitions, that's another big thing we do. So controlled members, when we're at competitions, we assemble the robot and know a lot about it because we put it all together. So we repair the robot whenever it breaks, and then we also run a lot of system checks before every match to make sure it's working and it doesn't have an issue during the match. So that's what we do during build season.
Excellent. Thank you, Brandon. Thank you, Tegan. Well, and there go my glasses. And we're going to give you guys just a little flavor of our most recent off-season project here. So bearing technology with us here. All right, and a 1 and a 2, hopefully. All right, that's our jam. We'll see you guys later.
Thank you, Derek. All right. So you've heard from our sub-teams. As you can see, we have a little bit of something for everyone. And in fact, some of our sub-teams, you can be on 2 different sub-teams, like outreach. If you want to do outreach and do one of the technical sub-teams, that works out just fine. So I hope you have found something that sounds interesting to you. I'm going to share one slide here. Okay, so what's next? What if you are interested in joining the team or just getting a little bit more information about the team and being able to come to some of our meetings virtually or in person? What we'd like you to do is to register with the team. This isn't a full commitment, but we would like you to get into our system so that we can have your number so we can reach out to you and help find the place on the team that works best for you. Our registration system, we have a new one for this season. It's called the Member Information Management System. It's, as an acronym, we call it MIMS. So there isn't any more paper forms or signing waivers on paper forms. Everything is handled electronically now. This is also really good because in it, we have a touchless meeting sign-in. We can use QR codes to help to sign students in, which is really important nowadays. This system is also used for tracking our service hours, those community service hours you heard from Emma, and also when people are at team meetings. We have additional functionality that will be rolling out later in the member information management system. But right now it's up and running to register and to sign our COVID waiver and student parent agreement, things like that. So if you register at the URL given there, mims.gearalliance.org, or at the QR code on the side, will take you to that same URL. When you register, you will get an email and then that will let you get into the system. And for parents, after your son or daughter registers, you will receive an email and to also register and then to complete 2 mandatory forms. So parents need to complete the forms because the students are not over 18 typically. So this is what the sign-in page looks like on the right side of the screen. So if you're interested, go ahead and register, and then one of our student leads will contact you by email and help you find what sub-team you want to try out, and so you can join the team. Let's see, and from here, I think I will open it up to Q&A. So does anyone have any questions? It's probably easiest if we use the chat, but if you want to raise your hand in the Zoom window, you can do that, or you can just shout out a question. I don't see any questions in the chat. I'll give you guys just a second to think about it, or unmute yourself if you would like to ask a question.
Okay, so for the registration, the cutoff day is October 1st. So we have to.
Yes.
So we, okay, so we have to register before that day. And also, how about you say join the sub team? So we have to decide at that time or later on.
Yeah, so we'd like you actually to register with our MIMS system even as soon as now. It is not a binding commitment in any way. And that just allows us to reach out to the student and find a sub-team for them so they can come in and join either a sub-team meeting virtually or in person to really decide if they want to join the team before the October 1st date comes. So we encourage you to sign up in MIMS now and then plug in with the team and see if you like it so that you can figure out before the deadline if you want to join.
Now, one more question about the orientation, and right now is still on the Zoom for the orientation on October 6th.
Yes, I believe, yes, that will be on Zoom because we don't want to have that many people here. So we'll be putting out a Zoom link for that meeting when the time gets closer. looked like there was a question in the chat about how to get a copy of the video. So a lot of our videos are on our YouTube channel. And if people are looking for the video that Derek showed, we can maybe figure out a way to put that out there. There's another question in the chat about what do you do when you want to be in either of the sub teams you like, but they are completely clashing with your schedule? Yeah, that is a tough one. I think I would say go ahead and register, and like I said, a student lead will reach out to you, and then you can talk to them about your schedule and your other commitments and see if there's another sub team that works for you, or if maybe your commitment is only through part of the year. There can be accommodations. A lot of times students like Emma here swims, and so there's times when she's not available, and we understand that. We want the students to be well-rounded. So just reach out to us and we can see what we can do. But there is a commitment to being here, and this is a club that's like a sport. So we just need to understand if this will work for you, because if you only come once a month, you're not going to get much out of it, frankly. You'll always be behind and not knowing what's going on. So we really are trying to look for a weekly commitment, but if there's some seasonal thing that for a few weeks, we can work around it. Okay, I'm assuming from the lack of questions that we've at least for now answered your questions. If you have any questions that come up later, feel free to email us at uacr@team1619.org. We're happy to take your questions there, and we look forward to seeing you on the team. Thank you, everyone.